Hey, Ann.
Hey, Steve. How's your mom?
She's evacuated, so keeping tabs on her. Yeah, scary. Who wants to start?
You've kind of obviously had a revolving door in the front court at times, rotationally, this season. I'm just wondering, on a night like the other night, you guys are trying to kind of grow Trayce, obviously, into a bigger role, but, Looney's had success against Sabonis. How do you decide, if it is the right time to go to Looney in a matchup that seems like would fit him, or just, you're trying to grow Trayce?
Yeah, we were just trying to get back in the game, and Loon has traditionally done a good job on Sabonis, and so you make that decision, in the moment. Let's see if we can make a run with Loon. He hadn't played in 3 or 4 games, so trying to see if he'll maybe give us a spark. But I think the big picture is we're giving Trayce a lot of minutes, and he's getting better, and we'll keep doing that. But everybody on the roster is crucial, and you just never know. Just like Kyle the night before, JK gets hurt, Kyle goes out there, helps us win the game. Those moments are important for all of our guys to be ready for.
Steve, you mentioned Trayce is one of your better finishers, or has been. Certainly the last few games, he's had some issues there. Do you just tell him to keep trying, be more aggressive? Do you tell him back off if it's not going in? What discussion do you have with him about those kinds of shots at the rim being contested?
Yeah, I mean, he has to stay aggressive, and a lot of this as a young player is, understanding the angles and learning how to use his body, being stronger with the ball for sure. The ball's getting knocked out of his hands too often. But this comes, the game, you always hear the expression, the game slows down for young players. I think that'll happen for Trayce, but there's definitely an art to it. Using your body, pump fake, creating the contact yourself rather than the other way around. Little tricks of the trade, and those are all things that he works on every day.
Hey, Steve. How you doing, man?
Hey, John.
Good to see you. Like Miami, it looks like you guys are struggling a bit with your transition defense. How are you focused on trying to turn that around? What are you guys doing to try to prevent that from continuing to be an issue?
Yeah, last year we were near the bottom of the league in transition defense. We're actually better this year, although the other night was bad. But I think the biggest thing we've found is that if you find the right balance between crashing the offensive glass or sprinting back, one or the other, then it helps your transition defense. When we get in trouble is when we're doing neither. We call them stays, where shot goes up and you just stand and watch. Those are the plays that kill us. So we track first 3 steps in either direction. We kind of have some rules on, who we want crashing and on what kind of shots, that sort of thing. But it is interesting, when you and I played, it was like you didn't crash very often. Only the big guys did, and what we've learned is that sometimes crashing all 4 is, one guy back is really good for transition defense because you're either getting the ball or you're jamming everybody. And the last couple of years, we've spent a lot of time sort of exploring that.
So just a quick follow-up then. So are you typically sending 3 guys? Is that kind of what you're teaching and preaching?
Last year we were number 2 in the league in offensive boards and like 27th in transition defense. We felt like we were probably too aggressive sending bodies. So, but again, it was watching the tape over the summer and watching other teams and seeing everything. It's the stays that get you, and so I'm good if we crash, but if not, we got to turn and sprint back. And as long as we're doing both of those things, then we've actually been pretty good this year in transition defense overall.
Coach, I know when you had Book in the Olympics, you gave him a very strong compliment. Wondering for his role and his mentality, I wonder in the same ilk from a big man standpoint, did you feel that same way about Bam? And also overall, what was your coaching experience with him?
I just told our staff in the meeting everybody should be lucky enough to coach Bam. This guy is just an amazing pro. His work ethic, his intelligence, his energy, and then ultimately his dedication to the team and to the cause. His approach he's so professional and just an absolute joy to coach.
Steve, I was just wondering about Brandon and Gary. How close are they? Will they come on the road trip with you guys? And
Yeah, they'll come on the trip, and hopefully both will play on the trip. That's what we're hoping for, but nothing definitive yet.
Sort of following up on that, how much, I mean, Gary has such an impact, it seems, defensively. How much, in some ways, have you missed him on defense these last several games?
Yeah, for sure. We miss Gary, but it is what it is. Everyone's missing players all the time, and so you just, you just deal with it, and hope to get him back soon. I haven't talked to Rick. I doubt it, but I don't know that for sure. Before I start, I want to send my thoughts and condolences to everybody in Los Angeles dealing with the fires. My mom lives in Pacific Palisades. She had to evacuate. Everett Dayton on our staff, he grew up in Pacific Palisades. From what I gather, his family home is lost. And everything I'm seeing and reading is just terrifying what's happening down there. So just want to send thoughts to everyone who's going through, the devastation of the fire. Obviously, the game is secondary to that and to many things in life, but, perspective is important. So is the game, and we're disappointed in the effort and the result tonight, and we've got to do better. Questions?
Steve, in what way did you expect more of a bounce back tonight or a readiness tonight after the Kings game?
I'm sorry?
In what way did you expect a bounce back after the Kings game?
Yeah, I mean, I expected better energy. I think we're suffering from a crisis of confidence right now, frankly. You can see it, you can feel it. I don't mind missed shots, but I mind when missed shots affect the defense and the attitude, and we feel deflated right now, and there's no room for feeling sorry for ourselves in the NBA. In life in general, right? We can't let disappointment dictate our approach to the game. We have to do the opposite. We have to bring more fire. We have to outcompete our opponents when things aren't going our way. And that was what was most disappointing tonight. Was I just felt like everybody was down, and we didn't have a competitive spirit. And if you don't have that, you've got nothing. And so we've got to find a way to build that back up.
Steph in particular you mentioned the word deflated. He seemed deflated. I mean, obviously he's not unconfident offensively, but it does kind of seem to feel like this slump, the team slump is weighing on him. I mean, are you seeing that?
Yeah. I can see it. I can see it with Steph, and he's continued to be brilliant night after night. But at his core, he's a winner. He's a champion. He wants to compete at the highest level. We just saw it a few months ago in Paris. The best of the best, and he takes over the fourth quarter when everything's on the line. That's who he is. That's what he lives for. And so he is really struggling with the emotion of not being competitive right now. He probably hasn't had to deal with this since his his first couple of years in the league. So he's definitely struggling with it.
Steve, what do you think specifically their zone did to you? It just looked like maybe your guys were just hesitant to shoot in the gaps. What did that do to you?
Miami runs more zone than anybody in the league, and we knew they would play zone, especially coming off that double overtime game last night. So we were prepared for it. We got good looks against it all night. This was not a poor execution game. 28 assists and 10 turnovers. we're just 14 for 50 from the field. We missed a lot of wide open shots. So part of the reason they played zone was to preserve their legs. And it wasn't that the zone was shutting us down. It was the zone allowed them to rest a little bit after such a difficult night. And what the zone does too is it just takes away a little bit of your offensive pattern and the shots maybe that you're used to getting. And so you end up, if you play zone, you give up some shots, but sometimes those are the shots you're willing to give up. And so there was some of that at play as well.
Steve, given everything that happened tonight, how nice was it to see Trayce step up, especially after the rough night he had the other night?
I mean, I can't sit here after that and be excited about anything. He scored 19 points. Great. He's having a good season. But who the hell cares if we're not competitive? If we don't have a competitive spirit and a fight and a willingness to compete through everything, then I'm not going to sit here and talk about it. Hey, so-and-so had some points. Great. Who cares? It's about us competing and being the Warriors, being the team we've been for 10 years and not feeling sorry for ourselves. That's what I'm thinking about tonight.
Steve, you mentioned that you can see it wearing on Steph. What about the other guys? I mean, going back to mid-November, you guys are 6 and 15, I think it is now, and that's just not the standard here.
It's not. So what's the question?
No, the question is, what about the other guys? How are they handling this spell? And Steph is obviously being bothered by it, but what about the rest of the team?
They're quiet and they are down and lacking confidence. So we got to find our confidence. The only way you find that is through a competitive spirit and edge, where you fight for everything and you lift each other up and you talk on defense. And there's got to be a connection, a competitive connection, and we lack that right now.
Steve, do you think that accounts for points in the paint, shots at the rim? It feels like that's been a problem. Do you think that's a matter of competitive fire too, or is that just like a skill?
No, some of that is just personnel. We're way at the bottom of the league in terms of combined, layups and free throws. Way at the bottom, and so that's not from a lack of confidence. So we're not a team that gets to the line. We're not a team that's getting easy baskets. And so I think what's happening is, a lot of our confidence is just based on whether our shots are going in. And that's a really difficult way to survive. So 14 for 50 tonight with 5 free throws. So where do you find your confidence? You have to find your confidence at the defensive end. And this is why we have always preached defense. And, as much as everyone has wanted to talk about our shooting over the years for good reason, this team has been built on a defensive toughness and grit. And, we started out the season with that. That's why we got off to the great start. And we have definitely fallen in that regard. And so what I was saying earlier was for us to lose our edge defensively because we're missing shots, we can't have that happen. We're probably not going to get to the line much. We're probably not going to get a lot of layups. That's just personnel based. But I know we can fight, and I know we've got the personnel to defend better than we have.
You've talked even recently about kind of the organization-wide patience, up into the deadline before any big decisions are made. I mean, is that changing? Is the urgency, with each loss, changing?
No, those are questions for Mike. I love our guys. I love coaching these guys. I believe in them, and I'm going to keep doing that. And you can, those are front office questions. Thank you.
Trayce. Steve was pretty upset when he was in here. I mean, just what's the feeling for you guys at this point? You guys have had a really rough December, and unfortunately it's kind of carried over into the new year.
Yeah, it is upsetting. We got to go in. They played a lot of zone, so look at the film on that. But overall, just couldn't hit shots, and we just got to go look at the film. And we got another game against Detroit. We got to bounce back.
Trayce, Steve called it a crisis of confidence, that the team is just deflated. Do you feel that? Could you sense it tonight?
Yeah, I just felt like we came out there and there just wasn't a lot of energy, and we thrive off energy. We thrive off shots, and that's the thing. We can't thrive off those shots. We got to thrive off of our defensive presence. I felt like when we started playing defense in the second quarter, kind of got some energy in the gym, but we can't let our shots and making and missing dictate how we play on the defensive end of the floor.
I guess psychologically, right, what goes into that challenge, not getting your confidence affected when you're not making shots?
Yeah, it's tough. Obviously, everyone here is trying to play, trying to get minutes, trying to stay playing, and it's a lot different for guys. But at the end of the day, we're a team. We love each other. We love playing together. But we got to win, and winning solves a lot. And we just got to go out there the next game, watch the film on this game, and try to improve.
I know you guys don't try to look in the past, but like, what was the difference? You guys started the season so well, starting out 12-3. I mean, what happened?
Yeah, it's just like I said, when shots are falling, everything's nice, everything's great, but we can't be front runners. We got to dig in. We got to find our soul. That's what Draymond kind of said. It was our soul that we've lost, and we've lost our spirit, and we got to get that back, and we got to play tough basketball. We got to play with confidence, stick shots, and play hard on the defensive end of the floor. And I think if we do that, we'll find our way back.
Typically, when you're in a situation where you guys, are up and down, is there any communication on the floor, like who takes the lead and like really hyping you up if you have you're scoring high in the first and then a lull in the second? Yeah,
I think it's just anyone on our team can do that. But it's just got to be, usually it's Draymond or Steph, and sometimes they're getting older, and so they can't have that every night, so other guys need to step up and help them.
Trayce, you were just saying that Draymond said that you guys have to find your soul. What else did he say about that, just like that really resonated with you guys?
It wasn't necessarily anything that was crazy, just going out there and just soul as in just playing, having fun, having a good spirit, having that confidence that Coach was talking about, stuff of that nature. When finding the joy in playing basketball, I think everyone's pressing a little bit. Obviously, it's hard when you're losing and playing at a place like this in Golden State. It's tough, but at the end of the day, you just got to find yourself. You got to play with that confidence, and we got to play for each other and together.
Particularly considering last night, how pleased were you with the start and then the sustaining throughout, even though you got some pushback, particularly with the way Curry was shooting?
Yeah, you have to expect it, to be really tough, whenever you're on the road, and this league is tough. But these are opportunities, when you have a real, tough game last night, a quick turnaround. You can rally around each other, or you can, get overwhelmed and feel sorry for yourselves. And we have a group that has great competitive character. And, we're working to get things right, and get to a different level. I think all of these experiences are really important for us. Even last night, as painful as that was, there are a lot of teaching points that in tonight's game, we were better in those areas. Offensive organization, controlling, the lead at different key times, and the efforts, were there 2 nights in a row defensively against a team that can score and obviously get you in a bunch of compromising ways with Curry and all the actions they run.
Hi, Spell. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Sam.
I'm wondering, big picture, when you have so many guys in this group who have accomplished a lot in the past, especially in seasons when there were bumps and bruises and roller coasters, does it help the group not let go of the rope when things are tough like they have been the past couple of weeks, and the idea that you got to keep competing and try to turn a corner no matter what's going on?
Yeah, like I said, you have to have competitive character. This group has that. And this group is extremely ambitious. We've been frustrated, angry, all the different emotions of being where we are, but it's not for a lack of want. It's not for a lack of not having competitive character. This group loves to compete, loves to get challenged, loves to take on, the things that this league presents. and we're making strides. We're not there, but like I said, these games where it's stressful, like we had last night, and it can rally you closer together, which it did. A lot of these losses have kind of brought us closer together, our backs against the wall, or it can go the other way, and that's just not the nature of this group. All right, thank you.
Key rebounds from you throughout the night, sir. It was nice to see you get up there and snatch a few down.
Yeah, I mean, coach has been emphasizing that for us for all week, especially after last night. He really wanted us to rebound, and especially us guards coming back and helping our bigs rebound has been key for us. So just continuing to stick with that and try to keep improving that game by game.
What was most gratifying about being able to turn around after a double overtime loss and to start off a trip and then be able to come here in this building and get this win?
It seems like we get better on our second night of back-to-backs every game. But I think just shows our resilience as a team, taking a tough one last night, blowing a 17-point lead in the fourth, coming to Golden State, San Francisco, and just coming here and just competing, doing whatever it takes to come away with the win. I think that just shows, like I said, our resilience, our grit, our fight as a team. We're really connected in this locker room.
You were a key component to that start. Talk about how you wanted to impact things early and how successful you were.
Yeah, I wanted to get off to a good start. Last night we obviously had a big double overtime game. So I know this game we wanted to get off to a really good start and continue that and have great energy throughout, the entirety of the game. So that was kind of my mentality going into it, and the team as well.
Spo's been banging that drum about intent on the defensive end. So how nice is it to be able to keep a team under 100 points when the head coach is talking about that?
No, it's great. It's great. I think that as well. The rebounding, I thought we did a lot better job this game of really securing rebounds and stopping them from getting second possessions. And defensively, it's been something that we've been working on a lot as a team, and it really showed today.